Hey guys, this is David Herman here from American Hunter. Today, we're checking out the WorkSharp Professional Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener. Now I know what you're thinking. It's a knife sharpener. Why are we making a video about it? Well, turns out this particular knife sharpener has a lot of moving parts and is a really, really cool little piece of kit that it's worth getting on video. Check this out. Alright, so the first thing we see here is this Professional Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener. Comes in a nifty little waterproof carrying case. The sharpener itself generally resides under this piece of foam here. We'll get to everything up top later. The sharpener is right over here. Here's the base, here's the sharpener body itself. So, assembly is pretty simple. We take this, we notch it right into the base like so. Now you'll notice there's actually a second slot on this here. So that is for if you have a larger knife. When you put the knife vise in, this allows the knife to float back and forth so you can sharpen both sides, and this rearward canted angle allows the larger knife to clear the table. We're not using a larger knife today, so we're going to go back to slot number 1, but just figured I should show you all that. So with the sharpener in this slot here, simply take these little thumb screws here and tighten it on in. Alright, for this next bit, I want to free up both my hands. Alright, so now that we have the body all attached here, we're going to go ahead and attach our knife clamp. So, the way to attach the knife clamp is you push it in here, you press down on this little red button, and that allows it to turn back and forth. So that's going to allow you to hit both edges of the knife without having to take it out of the clamp every time, which really speeds up the process. All right, before we move on to how to actually use this thing, I do want to touch on a couple accessories that, while I'm not really going to show you how they work in action today, I do want to highlight because they are neat pieces of kit. So the first one is a clamp support. So as you notice, there is no natural support under here. So if you've got a bigger knife, or if you're really pushing down on your abrasive for whatever reason, you can throw that in place, and now there's a solid connection between that clamp and your base, so you're not going to be, changing the angle by actually bending the clamp down a little bit, and honestly not putting stress on the body of this either, because you want to, theoretically, you want to have this around for as many years as possible without getting a big crack up the center. The next thing, when you remove this, you can add in a small knife table. Now this is useful for Swiss Army knives, pen knives, things that are really too small to fit into this, particularly if they have like a narrower blade. And so you'll see up here you actually have 2 different sets of angle readings. This is the one we use for our main clamp, and then for the table we use the ones on this side. The knife would fit in about like so. So that's a cool inclusion, but today, since we've got our standard buck here, we're not going to be using that. So go ahead and throw this back in, and let's see how this machine works. Now, full disclosure, this knife is already sharp. I did sharpen it in this machine here, and I filmed it. That was actually the initial idea for the video, but it turns out that 20 minutes of me passing abrasives over the edge of a knife does not make for super compelling watching. So if you're interested in how to sharpen a knife to a hair-popping edge, go ahead and let us know in the comments. Maybe I'll film a video like that. However, I do know there's a lot of videos out there on that already, on knife sharpening in general. So I just don't know how much of a desire there is for something like that. And today, the main thing we want to do is highlight how this thing works. So because this knife is already sharp, we are going to start with the hone and then just proceed to the strop to essentially, polish the edge. We're not actually going to be removing that much material here today. Mainly, I want to demonstrate how this thing works. So first up, we're going to go ahead, open the clamp up. We're going to put the knife in there like so. Then we're going to tighten down on the tightening wheel here until it is, well, tight. Now we want to check our direction. Make sure that the knife is rotating in a way that it will not impact the bench with the handle. From there, we're going to unclip, still got the strop on there, we're going to unclip our abrasive handle here. We're going to magnet the hone onto the back, and then we are going to set it on the edge. Now here comes a cool part, or what I think is a cool part. So here's our digital angle indicator. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to turn it on. We're going to set it on the same flat surface that we have our knife sharpener on, and obviously it's already zeroed since you can see how sensitive it is. Just me touching the board a little bit actually changes it. But we obviously already have it zeroed because I just used it, but if I didn't, you'd press that button, that zeroes it out, and then you're going to put it on your handle here. Now, to change your angle, you turn this knob up at the top here. I sharpened this knife to a 21 degree. So we're going to set it right to there, and we are good to go. All right, so for honing, WorkSharp recommends that you can use a back and forth motion like so. I personally don't like that. I do that on like a 220, really heavy abrasives when I'm trying to take off a lot of material quickly to reset the bevel angle or reshape a knife blade. But for honing and for any of my finer grits, I tend to just do a pass in this direction so I can really control how much material I'm taking off. So that's what we're going to do here today. But just so you know, you can use it both ways. That's just my personal preference. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you'll notice all the way throughout that, and obviously you can see kind of the angle there on the analog scale. This thing is holding it in the exact same place at the exact same angle. There is absolutely no deviation, and that's pretty cool because, so you might notice that there is a little bit of black Sharpie on the edge here. The reason for that is I've carried this knife afield for about 10 years. I freehand sharpen it quite a bit, and at some point I started sharpening the belly at a slightly steeper angle than the rest of it. So when I first put this knife in here, and I was sharpening up very well here towards the heel, all the way up to here and up at the tip. But there was a spot here where I was really just taking off metal behind the edge rather than actually sharpening the edge. And so I had to, go back down to 220 for a while and work that spot until the whole knife blade was, the whole knife edge rather, was at the exact same angle all the way across. And that's the real beauty of a machine like this, right? Is it makes it quick. It makes it relatively easy, it makes it efficient, and most of all, it gives you the peace of mind that you are holding the exact same angle the entire time throughout the process so that you know you are getting a perfect edge on whatever you're doing. Now, of course, when you go out in freehand, maybe you'll muck it up a little bit more. It depends on how good of a freehander you are. Obviously, I kept this one pretty good throughout the years, but everybody makes mistakes, and clearly I get a little sloppy on the belly. But it's pretty cool to know that no matter what you do, once you come out of the field or on your yearly roundup of your tools, you can come back, put it in here, and reestablish that same essentially factory edge that you're looking for. So we did 10 passes on that side. I'm gonna flip the knife over, make sure we stay consistent on this side. That is very important. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to strop it. So here's our strop. And a cool thing that they give you in this kit is this green honing compound. Now I've used this on basically every strop I've ever owned. It's really, really effective. Essentially what it does is it adds an abrasive material to the leather that knocks off the burrs incredibly efficiently. I mean, it's almost cheating using this stuff, but it makes your edge come to an absolute mirror finish incredibly quickly. So we'll put our hone back, we'll attach our strop. Now, of course, for a strop, we are going to go in the opposite motion of a hone so we don't cut our strop. Be careful around the tip of a knife like this, or you will cut your strop a little bit, like you can see I did there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there you have it, folks. That is how the Work Sharp Precision Adjust Elite Knife Sharpener operates. Very quick, very efficient, but we're not quite done yet. For the final test, let's see how sharp this knife really is. All right, so no Knife Nerd video is complete without the final test of sharpness here. So we're going to take this, and that is a razor sharp knife right there, quite literally. Alrighty, y'all. For more videos like this, check back with us at AmericanHunter.org, and don't forget to check out an NRA membership. That's the only way you can get our print magazine. We got all sorts of good content in there as well. See y'all next time.